welcome back to Waxing on RJ, episode 3. We got the whole gang here once again. Jake Jackson, and Barrett Lewis here. And just kind of want to start things off by saying Jake Jackson and I drank until 4 o'clock in the morning last night. So
Roll Tide.
Good God.
I'm wondering if Jake's going to be as sharp as he was on the last episode.
Yeah, I'm I took a little napski and I got some water in me, and I think we are good to go, ready to talk.
Put me in, coach. Put me in, coach.
Yeah, put me in.
There we go.
All right, so kind of the idea this week, of course, we're going to be talking about more current releases, more recent physical media that we've received in the mail probably since the last time that we've done an episode. So everything that we're bringing to the table today is completely new picks as far as physical media. I have minor submissions because, in full disclosure, I kind of jumped on you at the last minute to kind of help pass along the baton here and just kind of make sure that everybody's kind of aware of where we're going here in the future and what the idea is. But you guys want to get right into it?
Let's go.
Thing.
Okay,
Yeah.
So we've got a playlist made up on Spotify of our picks today, so don't get overwhelmed if you're hearing it. Blow by blow, shot by shot. You guys can review them later. We're going to talk about the albums that we receive, why we like them, so on and so forth. And then some of it might get in the weeds, some of it might not get in the weeds. So we'll just see where the oceans take us and the waves. So, Ridge,
Right.
Master Chef, take us on a journey.
All right. I'll lead it off. All right. One of my picks, probably my top pick out of all of them, is okay. So it's a Miradad.
Okay, I was wondering.
I couldn't. I don't know how to pronounce it correctly. I tried to look it up and it kept pulling up Myriad and stuff. But it's Miradad, Myrdod. The Morning Hollow. It's awesome. I'm trying to think about 6 tracks. It's a 2-person Blackened Swamp death metal band, but it's really like psychedelic experimental black metal too, all rolled into one. But released on Wise Blood Records back in December 2021. One thing that's really cool, and it kind of makes the sound of the album makes sense when you find out that they are like a rural band from Pennsylvania. They recorded the whole thing in a cabin in the woods. So like
That's wild.
I guess I don't know if you really can hear like the noises from the outside going on, but because it's just like so low tuned, raw, cavernous sounding. It's a lot of like right off first listen, I was like, okay, yeah, this is like straight up raw black metal album. The more I listen to it, I started picking up all the death metal parts. So it made me.
It has like some atmospheric moments too. The first track's like pretty sure it's an instrumental. It's pretty.
No, there's vocals in the first one.
There's vocals.
Yeah,
Okay, maybe it's in it because also what I was going to say is that they have put out how many albums have they put out in like 2 years? They've just been releasing a lot of shit.
Yeah,
and maybe it was the other album I checked out that was a long instrumental, but yeah, it was really solid release.
Mm-hmm. I mean, like they have 2 demos, 4 EPs, and 3 full lengths. It's a pretty big catalog and they've only been around for, what was it? I can't remember, like 2019, 2018.
So right before
Something
the
like
pandemic.
That. 3 or 4 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is a lot of material in that short amount of time.
Yeah. I mean, it's the artwork on it's really killer. You can go to their Bandcamp, we'll link it, and you can kind of see the artwork a little bit better than this, but it's pretty sick.
There we go.
Hell yeah.
But Miradad, The Morning Hollow. I mean,
Hell yeah, dude.
I think it rules. I picked this up. I think Life After Death was distroing it, so I just like picked up a copy because it looked really cool. And then I listened to it before it got here. I just like pulled it up on Spotify or Bandcamp, and I was like, "Oh man, this is really cool. I dig this." And it ended up being, I would like, if I had to rate it, I probably would give it a 10 out of 10 out of all the picks. It's
nice,
pretty damn good. It's really fun.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't sound like it has that black metal production, real raw, but
the way it should be.
Yeah, But
Sure.
just all these like weird little things they add in there make the album.
For sure.
I think it's solid. I mean, I wish I would have heard about it sooner, but it's really killer.
And would you consider it in 2022? Because it was released. Isn't there like, if it's released like in December or like right before January, it can be considered a, release of, I don't know. Because I know like award shows,
Well,
like Grammys.
it's more
like,
about,
like just for.
It's more about what reward show.
Yeah.
What their criteria is.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
But those guys, you found out about them from Life After Death Ridge, right? Specifically.
Yeah. I was just scrolling through. He had got some new stuff in, so I was like, I'll check it out. He was running a deal, and that looked pretty sweet. So I was just like, okay, I'll add it on. And very, very surprised. Loved it. Loved every minute of them. Still listening to it. But that was my first pick. Since we got Jake
let's
Jackson
go with Jake.
on here.
All right.
Absolutely. Jake, what you got, man?
Well, we're
pick.
going to continue the Pennsylvania train here. A little bit different band, but in the same universe. We got a hardcore band from Pennsylvania called Gridiron, with the album called No Good at Goodbyes. It's released on Triple B Records. I think one of the best hardcore labels, like punk hardcore labels around right now. Them, Mind Force. I think Regulate's on there. They didn't put out the No Pressure album, but they've been releasing it on vinyl and stuff. But I mean, this is just groovy, East Coast, in your face, like just breakdowns, heavy parts, good choruses. I mean, look, they have a song called No Good at Goodbyes, self-titled. They have a song called Trench. The chorus is literally you on the bench, we in the trench. I mean, that's what else? I mean, that's hard to beat right there. That's a shirt for sure.
Yeah, that's tough.
And
That's
then,
tough.
It is.
And then Brody King's actually featured on it, AEW wrestler and singer of God's Hate.
Right.
And the singer
Big
of
old son bitch.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
The singer of Mind Force and Out for Justice, and I think it's Pillars of Ivory is he's on it, featured on it as well. And it's just 9 songs, 25 minutes. They get in, they get out, they just
Get off.
get off. And it's a great hardcore release. And if you like the groovy East Coast style, then this is something you're gonna like. And I wanted to get it on vinyl, but CD's all they had, because I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't really like these like paper or whatever
Digipacks.
So
yeah.
But had to get the CD for now. Just wanted to have something. But my first pick is Gridiron. No Good at Goodbyes.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
It's solid. Probably say my favorite song off that whole album is Trench.
Yes, sir.
Trench is a banger.
I mean, it's just beat down, mosh, like spin kick material for sure.
Yeah, but then towards the end, they go into I'm trying to remember. I think before the first thing is that they got a 2-step thing going on. And I was like, oh yeah, this is awesome. Then goes into a blast beat breakdown thing, and they cut the time in half at the end, and I was like, oh yeah.
I literally said before I sent it to Ridge, I said, I think Trench. I was thinking before I said it to him, I was like, Trench is going to be your favorite because of the blast beat, kind of like death metal, and the blast beat in the beginning. Yeah. So, but yeah, No Good at Goodbyes, Gridiron.
How did you come across these guys, Jake? Initially?
Okay, well they're me and you literally we talk about them all the time. Hate 56, Sonny, amazing videographer of heavy music.
Right.
He posted a video about Gridiron, and I was like, okay, I've heard about these guys. And then Code Orange is also from Pennsylvania, and I believe they tweeted out the album when it came out. So around that time, and the Sonny posted a Hate 56 video of the release album. They did a release show.
Right.
And, great live set. And that's how I find out about a lot of bands. Sonny from Hate 56 just is posting stuff left and right. And,
for sure.
I mean, that's how I discovered Gel. And a few other bands was just, he's always got so many good bands on there.
I want to know how many he's done, total.
It's a lot.
Videos? I mean, hundreds. Yeah.
I mean, just
at least.
I think he's the best.
He's been doing it for over 10 years, and he just about puts something up every week. So, just do some basic math there. Let's say 52 episodes a year. It's insane. he just recently put up that Turnstile, but that was all the way back from
January.
Yeah, and actually he just put up an End one. So Will Putney from St. Louis,
Yes.
who's a pretty big producer, and they just put up the End set list as well. It's like over an hour.
Lead singer of Counterparts is the lead singer of End also.
So, yeah.
Is that where he's from?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was trying to, I think me and Barrett were talking a while back, trying to figure out where he was from.
Yeah.
They just released a split, or going to release a split with, who is it? It's a band I know both of you like. End. They're doing a split with.
Oh, they did a split with
Cult Leader.
Cult Leader, yeah.
Yeah, that's sold out like almost
Quick.
Immediately. The pre-sales.
Yeah.
Yeah, on the vinyl single split.
And it still doesn't come out until like middle of next year or something like that.
Right.
Like
I thought it was December, but I could be
maybe.
wrong.
Yeah, I'm probably wrong.
Well, the vinyl's not coming out until next year. Like I think digitally it'll come out, but it may have already have actually.
All right, Barrett, so what you got for us?
In the spirit of keeping things on the East Coast, I'm going with City of Caterpillar, Mystic Sisters, Virginia band, so not too far from the stomping grounds that we were just covering. City of Caterpillar was a band that was pretty active in the early 2000s, post-hardcore band. Got a lot of popularity in kind of the post-hardcore surge at that time, and fell off. But they were like kind of like a bright shining star. Like they burned fast and had a huge impact on people. And they just recently came back as a band here in the last 6 years. So 2016 they got back together. This is their newest release. Just came out in the last month. I mean, I really love it from start to finish. I can't say that there's any particular track that I'm in love with at the moment that stands out one over the other, just because whenever bands like this come back and they start putting out material, like I'm just so appreciative of everything that they do. And it's hard for me to just like zero in on one song. I'm just like, oh man, I can't believe they're doing this or they're doing that, but obviously, some of the singles and things that came out at first, but, City of Caterpillar was one of those bands that I didn't catch on to, obviously, when they were active. I was just, early teenager. And again, they were pretty much done and over with by 2003 until they came back in 2016. And, in my attempts to try and find music, and then, Spotify has always had the amazing ability of, suggesting similar artists. So that's how I initially stumbled upon them. Way back when, just kind of going down some post-hardcore rabbit holes. And so, so City of Caterpillar, Mystic Sisters, I actually have it on tape. That's how I've listened to it. Quite a few tracks, actually, overall. 8, actually. There's a side A, side B. But some of the songs, I say that, but 8 doesn't sound like a lot, but a lot of the songs are like 7-minute average. Like the first track is 8 minutes. And it's just a banger, one banger after the other. It's pretty simplistic in some respects, media work here on the tape sleeve. And, I'm always big for like kind of prism or distorted pictures, just like taking a basic picture and just doing, there's a lot of beauty in this simplicity of this artwork, I think. Minimalistic in many ways. And then like the internal font even. It's got a very DIY feel to it still yet. And that's something that I really love about it. And it's an all black tape. Yeah.
It's almost like making like a collage thing, like
definitely
hodgepodging some stuff together. Yeah, because I got that on vinyl, and it is a banger.
I kind of wish I would have gotten out of vinyl now, but I will say my tape deck is sounding better and better since I cleaned it. But so the tape is actually kind of cool. It's an all black tape, kind of a classic generic looking, but the actual font on it's violet. So it really pops. Cool. Yeah, it really pops with the black tape. And I'm really enjoying this right now. And what little time I actually get to listen to real loud music inside of my house with a small baby.
That. Yeah, that's a struggle, man.
But yeah, we like to toss things on sometimes and try and squeeze a listen in from start to finish whenever the mood hits me, and even me and the baby will get up and dance around to some post-hardcore together. So City of Caterpillar is my first submission for the week.
Hell
yeah.
All right, well, I'll keep the train rolling. My second pick, I got this in, was Kinmode's Null. It was just released back September 23rd. I've listened to Kin Mode for years and years and years, and they just keep evolving more and more and more. And this album, just I think probably my favorite album they've done. Maybe Entrenched. I'm not sure. I don't know. I have to re-listen to both of them back to back or something. But it's amazing. Like, did you get the red?
I did get the red.
Oh, you got the red? Hell yeah.
The red vinyl's clean, son.
Yeah, if I can get
it's
out
sexy.
Here.
Yes, absolutely. Ooh, look at that.
Clear red.
Yeah, it's a pretty girl. Pretty girl.
It's an amazing, amazing album. But, I mean, for anybody that's not familiar with Kin Mode, basically a metal hardcore band influenced with, like, extreme noise rock.
100%.
Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to think. Like, I was listening to it again last night, and I felt like it kind of takes their old sound from even, what was the last album? I can't remember.
Loved is the last album.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so basically taking that, but, like, adding in, like, influences from, like, Swans and even, like, Nine Inch Nails.
Right.
Like,
definitely.
I think there's a lot of Nine Inch Nails.
Definitely, I heard that.
Like,
there's no question.
But it's an amazing record.
There's a lot of Pretty Hate Machine and Downward Spiral, like, influenced. If it's not an overall song that is influenced by it, there's certainly sections and parts of songs that are certainly influenced by that, without question.
And they have a track with gang vocals, and as I told Barrett, automatic
Deal
banger
maker.
if there's gang vocals. So,
oh man, like, I want to see them live so bad now, because just the fact that there is a 4-piece, and when they go into the certain songs where they both play bass, so it's like 2 bass guitars.
Okay, I didn't know that.
Then the new member playing synth, saxophone, I think sometimes guitar, and it's just insane. Like, I watched a little bit of a live performance or whatever, and he just had, like, the bass, like, turned up on its headstock and was, like, screaming into the humbucker.
Oh,
and she was just, like, going wild. And
Catherine Kerr is the multi
Catherine
instrumentalist. Kerr, yeah, she's phenomenal. I saw a video to expound upon that, Comet Ridge, of they're on tour right now, of course, Kin Mode that is, and I saw a video of them not only doing gang vocals going crazy, but they had the entire crowd doing gang vocals with them. I think it was in Calgary, and, like, the room was just going nuts. It was almost like an old school VFW hall feel, and everybody was screaming the lyrics in that room. Like, it was almost overtaking the music, and they are a loud ass band. So that right there is telling you that the crowd is into it, the live experience. Like, I've got to feel that with these guys, because they're certainly one of my favorite artists. Noel's, technically on my list too. I've got the exact same vinyl, exact same colors, so I'm not gonna, like, show that one off too. But I mean, I do have several Kin Mode albums and tapes, but loved, you talked about a second ago, that was my favorite album of 2020 whenever it came out, and that's a fantastic album. I love the Evil Grimace artwork. You can't go wrong with that.
No,
people call it that. Yeah.
I was like, what?
Yeah.
Like, then the Chat Pile record came out, and somebody had, like, made the figure purple and had, like, a joint hanging out of his mouth. And
well, they have a grimace salt. Like, what is it called?
Grimace smoking, or like grimace.smokingweed.jpg.
JPEG, yeah.
Like,
Hilarious.
That's a good follow on Twitter. That's a solid follow.
Absolutely. Yeah, and Noel was actually recorded by Andrew Schneider, who worked on Loved, and they did it the same back at Private Eye or Private Ear Recordings. Yeah,
Andrew Schneider actually has had, recorded with Cult of Luna, Converge, Mutoid Man, Old Man Gloom. So this guy is just, like, killer producer and recorder
and
of
shines
bands
on this album.
Yeah.
It's, I mean, if you want to get in, and, like, if you're fans of, like, say, Converge or Today Is the Day, Melvins, Chat Pile, any noise band, you really need to check out Kin Mode.
I also I said this to Ridge, I'm going to mention him again, you're going to hear it a lot on this show. Early Code Orange kids, like, kind of sound like I could see them listening to Kin Mode. for sure.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Definitely.
Like Dreams and Inertia off I Am King. I feel like it could be a Kin Mode song.
Yeah,
to
Definitely.
me.
And I feel like Kin Mode are the guys that were like kids watching like Converge when it started out.
Yep.
And
Definitely. Yeah.
I
mean, they started in '99. Yeah. Kinmo did, and like they certainly listened to other bands like the Jesus Lizard,
Mm-hmm.
you know, that came way before all of those bands. Even, you know, I think Jesus Lizard's at least '80s. Like, you know, yeah.
About what, mid late '80s, something like that, or early '80s.
Yeah, but yeah, Jesus Lizard's fucking a band that gets overlooked all the time. That is hugely influential on all of noise rock, without question.
Yeah.
Now I got a question. How often does Kin Mode tour? Do they tour a ton?
So they have a little bit of a unique situation in the sense, like, Kin Mode has a huge underground following, but they'll have day jobs, so they can only tour for 3 weeks at a time.
Okay.
And so whenever they go on tour, they do have to miss a lot of. So that's like they're basically skipping over Missouri on account of it, but they're hitting like every state around Missouri, and like there's like 3 or 4 places that they're coming to that's just like 5.5 hours away from here. I say just, but you know, that's kind of the thinking, you know, like they're definitely going big gaps between city to city, with the exception of, you know, your major East Coast and West Coast cities that you bing, bang, boom, you know, line up in a row, like your Bostons, your Philadelphias, your New York, for example, on the East Coast, things that are close to each other, Baltimore. But outside of that, you know, and the expected major city type shit like Chicago and so on, but like they're playing in like, I think it's Jonesboro, Arkansas, or some shit like that.
Yeah.
It's like the closest technically.
It's definitely not an A market town. Definitely not an A market town.
No, they're playing Oklahoma City.
That's the one I wanted to go to. I'm not going to be able. I was like, oh man, I can make that work. Like, stay with my uncle, like, or our uncle.
Yeah.
But and it just, I don't think I can make it. But
when is it?
It's like October 28th.
Okay.
I can remember. It's like the Thursday before Halloween weekend.
I would
believe,
go.
But it's
that would be the 27th.
Chat Pile.
Oh well, I would really go for that.
Yeah,
for sure.
I know.
Mode and Chat Pile together.
Yeah, arguably my 2 favorite records of the year, right there. So it's like I'm kind of depressed and I'm missing it, but you know, it is what it is. Maybe some other day. What you got next, baby Jake?
All right. Well, I don't know if you guys have ever heard of this band. You know,
where you going with?
a little band called you know, I don't know if you ever heard of them, but they're called Slipknot.
Oh, I've never heard of these guys.
Never heard.
Yeah, how'd you hear about these guys?
Yeah, they're, you know, I heard they were on this indie label, you know, called Roadrunner Records. You know, but this is Slipknot's new record. This is their 7th studio record, the end so far. And yes, Barrett sent me the message, basically like, "Hey, is your copies fucked up because the vinyl had the wrong title?" But my CDs are correct. And yes, if you're wondering, I bought not one, but I bought, here's old Mick here, 2, 3, there's Corey, 4, here's, I think is this the, I don't remember if that's Sid or the Tortilla Man, whatever they call him.
I don't know, that might be Sid.
Okay, we got Jim here. We got, shout out to Jay Weinberg, ex Madball, Against Me. We got the V-Man bass, and then that was Sid earlier. This is the Tortilla Man or whatever they call him. And here's the 9th copy. Yes, I bought 9 copies of the new Slipknot album. I got Clown here. And listen here, people. I think everybody in this room has enjoyed Slipknot at some point in their life.
Oh, definitely.
And if you are into heavy music, 90% of you somehow or some way listen. One of your first bands probably was Slipknot, and this is the new record. I think it's really good. People are kind of shitting on it, except for like major rock publications, because I think like certain like Kerrang or Loudwire, they're like afraid to shit on Slipknot. I mean, it's your opinion. You can think what you want, but I really dug it. I think it's better than the last record. They took chances. It's different. These guys are 50 years old now. Do you want them to – I mean, yeah, they made Iowa and the first album are fantastic. Yeah. Heavy as fuck. The first album is arguably a death metal album. Mm-hmm. You know, send your hate tweets at me if you disagree. But
no, basically is.
But they take chances, and if you like old school Slipknot, it's in there. Yes, Adderall is a ballsy track to start off with. I mean, it's just a slow paced. People were saying it sounds like Queens of the Stone Age, just like Nine Inch Nails, but you have songs like The Dying Song, Chapeltown Rag, Hive Mind, and Hate that are all old school fucking Slipknot, What You Want, bangers. And then they have, personally, my favorite tracks are Yin, which that's kind of like the Typo Negative type song.
Yeah.
Medicine for the Dead. And also some people said it sounds like Stone Sour, and I disagree with that.
I think the first track to me kind of sounds like Stone Sour.
Yeah.
A little bit.
Well, people say my favorite song is, the people shit on this the most besides Adderall. It's called Earloom. It's H-E-I-R. I'm terrible at pronunciation, but it has they said this sounds like hair metal or Stone Sour, and I'm like, tell me when a hair metal song or a Stone Sour song has double bass and DJ scratching in the beginning. Yeah. But and then arguably also my favorite track, the last track, an epic, there's a choir. I mean, to me, it's an epic closer. It's called Finale, and I'm a big fan of it, and it's already on my end of the year list, and I'm a maggot for life. So let's Slipknot, the end so far. It's good shit. Check it out. Open your mind. Realize that these guys have had a lot of life experience. You can't make the same shit over and over again. Me and Barrett talk about that all the time. You gotta challenge yourself, and I think they overall did.
Oh, they did. It's a good album. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I haven't gotten around to listening to that one yet.
It's pretty fun, man.
But I don't hate Slipknot. I don't hate anything that they ever put out. The last album that they did, I listened through it once and I was like, okay, yeah, this is fine. But it wasn't what I was necessarily wishing to hear. What's the record with Duality on it? And
that's Volume 3.
Volume 3.
Volume 3.
At the time, I was a kid, so I didn't really, I wasn't listening to Slipknot at 7 years old. But
yeah.
At the time, that was kind of polarizing, apparently, because it had Snuff and Duality. And
well, I liked it.
Yeah.
It was kind of like the first time that I heard Slipknot, something they put out new, and enjoyed it immediately.
Yeah.
But, there's just a lot of cool production stuff that's going on in that album. If you guys ever watch Rick Beato's channel, he actually does what
amazing.
Makes a song great. Yeah. And he does a few different additions on that album, and breaks down stuff. And you can really hear just the mastery of the production that went behind it, and the guitar playing, all the intricacies of layering that they did. And Corey Taylor's vocals in particular, they're really if people don't think that he's a good singer or a good vocalist or frontman,
yeah, you're high.
I'd challenge you to go watch that specifically and hear his isolated tracks, and you will get goosebumps. So, but yeah, they're definitely a talented band, regardless of whether or not you like them. You have to respect the talent, hands down, without question.
They're the only band that I can think of that is massively popular that has members that bang on trash cans. So I'm in.
It makes money doing that.
Yeah.
No question, man. And the Blue Man Group, of course.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I'm the Blue Man Group.
Yeah,
okay.
PVC pipes and stuff.
Yeah, absolutely.
Should I know what this is?
You don't know what the Blue Man Group is?
You've never seen?
Dude, I'm like that. The mind blown emoji. That's me. I don't know what this is.
Okay.
Maybe I do. Maybe I need to see a picture.
Yeah, we need to get this on video. So.
Yeah. So the Blue Man Group, of course, is, and I actually can make this happen for all of us right now. Just one moment. I'll share in with the audience if they don't know who the Blue Man Group is.
Is that like Paul? They look like Paul Giamatti when he turns blue in Big Fat Liar.
Yeah. Well, there's a bit about the Blue Man Group in Arrested Development. If you've ever seen Arrested Development, it's pretty hilarious.
It's I've never seen the show. It's I think it's named after the song or the group Arrested Development.
Yes,
like the hip hop group. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm going to share my screen for the audience to see what exactly the Blue Man Group looks like. There you go. This is the Blue Man Group.
Their favorite group is Eiffel 65, for sure.
Oh man, that's creepy.
Yeah, dude, that's nightmares right there.
Yeah, no question.
Yeah,
That's
like you should look up some of their videos. It's real weird. It's
I'm
real
dead,
weird.
like I already know I'm gonna like unironically enjoy their music probably.
so. Yeah, this is everybody's homework is go and check out the Blue Man Group.
All right,
Right.
Blue, I'm ready.
Okay.
So we're gonna go over to my next pick,
Yep.
and this is a personal favorite of mine as far as bands that are doing it right now, and that's Off. Off, if you haven't heard of them, they're basically a supergroup. They're an American hardcore and punk supergroup that was formed in LA in 2009. So, like, whenever these guys first came out, I heard, oh, Keith from Black Flag's doing something else in Circle Jerks. And I'm like, immediately I'm interested because, you know, he's a fucking legend.
Right.
So that's Keith Morris.
100%.
And then Dimitri Coates is in it. So he's like, he's from Red Cross, and Burning Bridges, excuse me. He's from Burning Bridges, that's right. And then the Red Cross bassist, that's right, Stephen Shea McDonald's in it. And then Rocket from The Crypt and Hot Snakes, and drummer Mario. So, like, they've got, like, an insane lineup. And then, like, I think they switch out drummers sometimes, too. Like, I saw on I forget what video it was for on this album, but they had a different drummer from another band. Now I cannot remember for the life of me. There was like a lot of controversy going on because they're like, "Oh, did you kick Mario out of the band?" And they're like, "No, like it's like he was on tour. He cannot like do videos with us. We have set-in drummers for our videos. It's not that big of a deal. Everybody's cool." So like there was like a fake controversy about, you know, what is Mario in the band? But anywho, so Off, yeah, like if you like, you know, really old school hardcore, you know, like the hardcore that has elements of punk, like 80s hardcore,
Right.
Off is a band for you without question. If you like stuff like early Black Flag, if you like stuff like Bad Brains, you know, and everything in between that came out, you know, kind of that even like specifically just DC area hardcore in the 80s, like this band's for you. Off, they always have unique artwork designs. I actually this summer Off did a special tape collection where they released all of their EPs. It was like an anthology release of their tapes, and I actually snatched that up. It was a pretty good deal. I think like $36. And I don't even know if it's still available. But
I don't think so. I think I was looking at it, or I could be wrong. I think
yeah,
it was
like
out.
the minute they put it up, like I pre-ordered it. So,
Yeah.
And Off is a band who, again, like kind of minimalistic artwork, but it's really cool. It's like almost cartoonish. This album in particular is called Free LSD. So here's the cardstock out of it. And real cool artwork. Got a little bit of a glare here, but yeah, can't go wrong with Off. And again, just like real simply, like on the inside, it's just real basic font, you know, not a lot to it. Almost looks like a schematic of like a ship overhead or almost, but it's just like whenever you can, if you haven't see the intricacies of it, it's just like little CDs and vinyls in there with like little circuits overlaid and filters.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, it almost looks like a ship bay, like being scanned like X-ray wise. But of course, Keith is on vocals, Dimitri is on guitar and electronics, Autry is on bass on this album, and then Justin Brown actually does drums on this album. So that's the drummers that they switch between. Actually, is Mario and Justin Brown, and then they have some. This actually has a nice, tasty surprise. There's saxophone on this album.
Oh yeah,
and,
can't go wrong with saxophone.
John Wall plays saxophone on this album, and
You
it's
said John
used,
Wall,
yeah,
like the
that
point
John
guard,
Wall.
like
Yes.
the point guard.
Yes, the John Wall from DC. DC record, you know. But anywho, John Wall saxophone on this album is phenomenal, and like you know that might sound weird to you, but if you heard Kid Moan's Love when that came out, and of course Noel now, they have a saxophone player in their band.
Oh, yeah.
Catherine Kerr, the multi-instrumentalist, and it fits the mood. Like, you know, just adds even more to angular sounds that hardcore and noise bands try to go for. And like this album has actually like a lot of kind of thrashy parts in it. Like there's blast beats in this album. Like I was actually kind of surprised, like to say like a hardcore band like is aggressive, like duh, but like I think they take it to a new level on this album, in places, and the whole album's produced by Dimitri himself, and then mixed and recorded by Chad Bamford. And the tape, again, kind of the simple, basic pink tape, but with black lettering.
Oh,
And
nice.
Hell yeah.
yeah.
Nice. Yeah.
And I listened to this without, like, no skips, start to finish yesterday, and the hair was standing up on my arms. And, like, that does not happen too often anymore. So, you know, Free LSD by Off, can't recommend it enough. Again, if I was to, like, just bang off some tracks off of this, you know, Slice Up the Pie, it starts off, like, in your face, kicking you in the teeth, like, arguably the best opening track to any album this year. You know, it just really sets the pace for the entire album. So I'll just say by default, I'll go with that. But there's so many good tracks on here. Murder Corporation, Behind the Shifts, Suck the Bones Dry is a great one. There's a lot of great songs on this album. Yep, can't recommend it enough.
Woo. I'll have to listen to that one.
Yeah, I have to check them out. I
Yeah.
found out about them through the Metallica, like the Black Album, the thing they did last year where they had all these artists and bands cover them. And so I can't remember which song they did, but I enjoyed their cover. And I also found out about them because I love a band called Zulu, and they're taking Zulu out on tour. So
Yes, sir.
I'm gonna
Wait,
have to
Metallica?
no
Oh, okay.
Off.
Off.
But
Okay.
Off did a
yeah,
Metallica
yeah.
cover.
Yeah.
That's
Oh,
how
yeah.
I've heard of them.
Okay.
Yeah.
I messed up. I got confused.
Yeah, no, you're good. That'd be cool
Happens to
though
both
if
of us.
Metallica did take Zulu out on tour.
Oh, that would be.
That would be amazing.
Oh, that'd be sweet.
But I don't know.
Let's make
about
that happen, James.
Yes, and
Yeah,
Lars.
our boy James and Lars. I'm gonna text them real quick. Get
Yep.
them on speed.
Get him on
On
that.
speed text.
Well, I could see Robert being into him because Robert came from Suicidal Tendencies.
Sure.
Right.
Yeah, so
Yeah. I'm sure that Robert's like probably friends with Keith or Dimitri or somebody in Off.
yeah,
Specifically.
for sure.
Right.
And of course, everybody knows who Black Flag is. Even Metallica is probably fans of them.
Yeah,
Bridge, what you got next, sir?
All right. My final pick is a band called Ancient Death. Sacred
I love that
Vessel
artwork.
EP. They're a new band. Necroharmonics put out the CDs, and I was like, man, I gotta have that. Like
Yeah, I
after
love
listening
that.
to the first like teaser single song, I was just like, oh man, real.
Speaking of
Not,
Blue
not
Man
much
Group,
to like. Yeah, Blue
Yeah.
Man Group. Man, we got a lot of saxophones and a lot of blue people.
the
Like,
the,
yeah.
the fourth,
Blue
the fourth
things,
member of
like-
Blue Man Group
Yeah,
is an
but
the side project of Blue Man Group.
I mean, there's not like a lot to say about their sound. It's just like it's death metal. It's
Right.
very simple, but it's vicious. It's done well. It's got little bits of death doom in it that keeps kind of spices things up a little bit. But it's 4-piece. There's
hell yeah,
all the peeps there. But
Where are they from
beautiful
again?
they're from Massachusetts.
Massachusetts,
So
okay.
this is their debut EP. It's released on Necroharmonics Productions and Router Records. I mean, there's like some of these tracks, like the screams on them it's just like blood curdling, like gagging kind of vocal. But then the rest of it's just really fun to listen to. Good little sprinkles of kind of like, okay, let me retrack. Okay, so basically you are taking kind of like the old school death metal sound and then bringing in the new like production.
Yep.
right.
So that's what a lot of this reminds me of. And then like sprinkling in like a little bits of like Autopsy. But it's a great listen. I mean, 5 tracks. I'm messing up, slipping, it's late. But yeah, I can't recommend this any more than I already have. Sacred Vessel. They got CDs, T-shirts, and everything available over at Necroharmonics Productions. And his stuff's like good and like pretty cheap if you're looking for
I'm gonna have to
some
snag
pretty
me,
sick
snag me a
little
CD.
death metal stuff. He's actually has it on tape now too, but
wow.
at the time when it released, there
Well, I might
wasn't a
have to get
tape
that.
available. but I think they're running low. I think he's almost sold out, if I remember right.
Okay.
But there's another, I think Rotter or some other distros doing the tapes. But yeah, I'll tag him in that and everything in the post when we get this video all done.
What I would add to your point, I was going to say I love the production. I like the drums on it.
Yeah,
the drum sound is good.
Drums sound really, really good.
Me and Barrett were talking about this last night at the show at Storm Ruler, the Lion's Daughter, and was it Gorge? Is that the first band?
That's right, Gorge.
Yeah.
Friends of the show. Well, there we go. Look at that. Yeah. What a shot there. In a field. You know it's going to be good when they do a promo shot in a field.
I don't know. There's something about the name, like Ancient Death, and the way that the like.
You know it's going to be a good death metal band or a good country band when you got that shot.
Absolutely.
The landscape cornfield or wheat field shot.
Yeah, but it's a killer EP. I'm really stoked to hear more of what they have to do. But anybody looking for some fresh sweet death, get the Ancient Death.
Sir.
Ancient Death or your
Sacred Vessel EP. I dig it a lot.
All right.
But yeah, so I'm gonna move it along, Jake.
All right, just
see what you got.
Little switch up here from death metal to some. You're gonna see a lot of this on the show.
Wanted to bring Jake into the show and
Yeah.
everything. My brother, lots of knowledge of all crazy different genres of music, and we want to spice this channel up a little bit, give everybody different lanes to go into and everything, and discover different music that you might not even listen to in the beginning. But
bands that you already know that still put out music. I hate the fact that people put out, I love this band, but they don't listen to they don't listen to anything new. I can't stand that.
Right.
Yeah. Bands like Slipknot and Korn are still making great music in 2022, and people, I just want to hear Wait and Bleed. Like, I'm not that type of fan. That's just to me. Didn't mean to get on that tangent, but yes, listen to new bands, support new bands, but also there's great old vintage bands have been around that are still making great music. But I digress. But my third pick is a band. It's a little switch up from death metal here to some pop punk. I'm a big pop punk guy. If you haven't, you'll find out. If you don't know that, you'll find out real quick.
You'll find out.
This band is called State Champs, and this is their album called Kings of the New Age. They're on Pure Noise Records, my favorite indie label. We'll pull out the vinyl here. It's called Easter Colorway, whatever that is. But we'll pull the vinyl out here. Pretty sick.
Is it just like a bunch of pastels?
I don't know. It's like just all it's got like some it looks cool in this light, by the way.
Yeah, I've got all these different lights. I was trying to make us look like the Blue Man Group, but as soon as everything went blue, the camera readjusted and made the lighting different.
But
that's hilarious.
This band has been around for, I want to say, since 2010. They were like kind of like in that wave of like the 2010s, like Tumblr, Sad Boy, Pop Punk, whatever, like them, The Story So Far, Neck Deep, bands like that. And, they're a lot, with like those other bands, they're actually just like a lot fun. I was talking about this to Barrett yesterday. Sometimes music just needs to be fun.
Yeah.
This is still on an indie label. They have over 1 million monthly listeners on Spotify, but they've built their fan base from the ground. They tour. They're like road dogs for sure. And if you want like good modern pop punk, this is it. No disrespect to like the MGK or the Lil Huddy or whatever that stuff that's like getting super popular, where they're not a band. It's just one guy doing it. These guys are a band. They write great songs. There's great performances and great production from Drew Folk, who produced Stick to Your Guns, Day to Remember, Can't Swim, so many other bands. And I can't recommend it enough. It's just 34 minutes of your time. It's a good summer, good party, drinking album. If you like that TRL pop punk, good times. It's got Ben Barlow from Neck Deep on it. It's got a country singer, Mitchell Tenpenny, and it actually does not sound like country at all. So if you're like, I hate country music, they made a country track. It sounds nothing like that. And then they got an appearance from Easy Core Legends, 4 Years Strong. So
I think I remember seeing that tag when I was listening to the album.
Yeah, State Champs, Kings of the New Age. Just have a little fun sometimes. And you know what? You might enjoy it. So,
And you know what?
You played
And I
State
did.
Champs last night, didn't you?
I did on shuffle. I was like,
Yeah.
I was like, here's that one of the bands I'm going to be talking about tomorrow.
This is a pure example. I enjoyed that record.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it a lot.
Yeah,
Yeah, I thought the vocalist sounded a little bit like Joey Eppard, or is it Josh Eppard, the drummer from Coheed's brother who taught Claudio, the vocal coach that's in 3.
I want to say Joey, but I think I'm wrong.
I feel like I always want to say that Josh is the drummer. Let's see, I'll look this up just to make sure I'm right real quick. So
I haven't thought about that guy in a long time.
Yeah, but I thought he sounded a lot like him. And Joey Eppard is the one who was Claudio's vocal coach. And then Jake made the comment to me that singer had just taken vocal lessons, and I was like,
just watched a video about it.
I wonder if it wasn't him. So yeah, I gotta go see like where this guy got his vocal lessons at, because immediately, like within the first 20 seconds, I told him, I was like, he sounds like Joey Eppard to me. But I enjoyed what I heard, and it was the first time I'd heard it.
It's not going to blow you. It's not like super complex.
It's not going to blow me.
It might blow you, but it's not. It's just good, straight up. Fun pop punk summer. Like you turn on MTV back in the day. Drinking Mountain Dew or whatever. Tony Hawk's Pro Skater, like shit like that. And actually, last point, great production, good snare sound. You're going to hear this a lot I love a good punchy snare, and this album has a great snare sound. So if you like production and all that shit, check it out.
100%, my man. Well, Jake, you actually set the table a little bit earlier for my third pick. I'm just going to turn around and snatch it right off the shelf.
Love it. Woo. I'm your turbo lover.
Yeah, Lion's Daughter, Turbo Lover, or Turbo Covers, excuse me, which Turbo Lover is on here. We saw the Lion's Daughter and Storm Ruler last night. Both had a dual album release. Got the Storm Ruler shirt on.
Hell yeah.
We got the Lion's Daughter LP here today. Lion's Daughter might be my favorite St. Louis band. They're a metal band, of course. I like to tell people that they're Carpenter core. If you heard their last album, Skin Show, it's straight up Carpenter synths and just straight ahead metal, and it's so fucking good, man. And everybody in that band's a stellar musician. The drummer's fantastic. Rick, the lead singer, guitarist, is fantastic. Scott Fogelbach, the bassist, who's the guitarist for Bastard. He actually was playing guitar for Storm Ruler last night. He's a fantastic musician. Like, that dude's fucking slicker than shit on the neck. Like, he just seamlessly play. Like, I just get fascinated watching Scott Fogelbach play instruments, because he's just like, he's so out of his mind. He's locked in, and it's just something to see in person and experience. So, but these guys, like, almost kind of unassuming in some ways. Like, they just kind of get up and they just fucking rip it. Like, no ego. They just come up and they're badasses just simply by playing their instruments. And I think that, like, these guys should be even bigger than what they are. Funny enough, whenever going back to Ken Mode, so I've befriended Jesse and Shane on Facebook.
And you did an awesome review for Ken Mode.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. And we've talked about that on the ATI podcast. It's still up on V13. It was still on their landing page. It was the last review because it's been a few weeks now, but still can find that out there. But we were talking about, if they'd made it to St. Louis, like, hey, I was telling them, I didn't know what their awareness was of St. Louis bands, but I'd recommended some bands, and the Lion's Daughter was at the top of the list. And they said that they'd be 100% down, and that Lion's Daughters, in fact, this was Jesse, one of his favorite bands, and Skin Show was one of his favorite records that had come out last year. So, and Skin Show, if you haven't heard that album as well, like, gotta recommend it. It's excellent, and that is the best example of the Lion's Daughter being Carpenter core. You'll get my statement if you listen to Skin Show from start to finish. And the album cover of Skin Show is like very Dead Ringers Cronenberg-esque as well. Yeah, it's like, it's hit me in all the right places. So, like, I feel like I'm their target audience straight up. But anywho, so back to the covers album that they just put out on Friday. They actually did a lot of these covers over the span of their career as a band. Actually, some of these covers date all the way back to 2011, so some of these are like 11 years old. But they one side is mixed and mastered by Firebrand Recordings, and then the other side is mixed and mastered by Gabe Usery at Encapsulated.
Oh, nice.
So while this album was just put out, some of the tracks, understand, are like 10 plus years old that they recorded, and the Lions Daughter has been a band since 2007 as well. So I'm just going to go through. There's not a lot of songs on the album, just like what's on here, but this is just an example of how good these guys are, the variety that they bring to. And I mean, hey, can we get some appreciation for this artwork?
It's fucking killer. And the vinyl, you gotta. I'm ready for the unveil of that pretty fucking vinyl there.
Before I get too sidetracked, let me get on the track list. So it starts things off real hot with Turbo Lover, of course,
dude,
and that's of course a Judas Priest song. And then we got Burning Inside, Ministry, and then Dog Shit by G.G. Allin originally.
That's insane to me. But
then Mr. Self-Destruct, which is 9 Inch Nails.
Yes.
Everyone I Went to High School With Is Dead, which is a Mr. Bungle song. Mm-hmm. And then Negative Creep by Nirvana closes it out. So, like, I love all these bands. And even though, like, G.G. Allin's a shit, like, I don't mind listening to some G.G. Allin from time to time.
Yeah, I'll do it every now and then.
Yeah, it's just kind of like mindless fun noise, you know? And it's more fun for me to like listen to G.G. Allin and just think of oh man, that guy was a shithead. But you know, so we talked about the sleeve artwork. I'm gonna pop the vinyl out now, which is sexy as fuck.
Yes, look at that,
pinky,
chef's kiss.
Yeah,
for sure.
There you go.
And
treat it good.
It also came with this, which is always great. Ta-da.
Oh, dude, that's sick.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, that's frame worthy.
Oh, hell yeah, dude. Dude, this is like some of my favorite album artwork ever. Like, seriously.
Dude, for sure. Like, I was like trying to get the long sleeve last night, but, you know.
And I did get the long sleeve as well.
Yes.
I had to. I could not get the long sleeve of this. So, yeah, Lion's Daughter, and Turbo covers, which starts with a strong Judas Priest cover of Turbo Lover.
Amazing. I loved it. Like, that sold me. Literally, before the show started, he's like, "You're going to love Lion's Daughter." I was like, he's like, that's going to steal the show for you. And I'm like, you're fucking right. If you cover Turbo Lover, I'm in. I'm in 100%. Now I'm going to have to go check out their actual albums. I did buy that EP as well. I had to. So, but I'm looking forward to checking out the rest of their catalog.
Yeah.
On a side note, my wife brought me this today.
I can't see it.
A
little bit of a glare.
Yeah. Candyman.
Oh, Candyman.
Okay, hell yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. Original. Tony Todd. It's got the bee chest cavity that you can put on him. His jacket comes off, hook hand. Yeah.
Dude, that's sick.
Yeah, pretty awesome. And you can change out his head with like bees in his mouth and eye cavities.
Hell yeah. Are you going to let it breathe?
I don't know, man. I feel like I shouldn't. Because
I feel like you gotta keep that closed up.
Yeah. I almost wish I had two so I could take one out and leave one in.
Right.
Because the card stock is pretty cool inside of it as well. I mean, the glare is like killing it here because I got too many lights on in my house. But yeah, like,
dude, that's awesome.
It's pretty sick. And NECA does like a ton of like horror collectibles.
And then like they've been doing the Ninja Turtle like the movies, and they look real. I mean, they look like those are some of the best figures I've ever seen. So big fan of NECA.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah, well,
gentlemen, do we have any other picks to bring to the table tonight?
I don't have any picks.
I got some stuff coming in the mail for next time.
Oh, yeah. I actually did get a package, which I got a package on a Sunday. But, yeah, I got a package from Transylvanian Records, but I haven't got to dig into it yet.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to think.
I've got
like
several pre-orders.
And Carrion Bloom, or Carrion, I can't remember the pronunciation. But, yeah, that, and then that, if you can see it in the corner, it's a sick fossilization flag. But yeah,
I've got a ton of pre-orders on the way too. Like, I don't know when they're showing up. Like, I pre-ordered the Botch We Came as Romans reissue on vinyl. I ordered like every time that they do those Splitsvilles with 2 minutes to late night, I've pre-ordered all the performances, and then like every time I've ordered some type of merch. So when Circa and Touche Amore did theirs, I ordered hoodies, t-shirts, the vinyl, and that shit was like back in March, and it still ain't here.
Damn.
Like I'm like chomping at the bit to get that in the mail. And I know I've pre-ordered like a couple other things. I just can't remember. Like I'm really bad about pre-ordering shit, and then I just forget about. Like it just shows up, and I'm just like, oh shit, it's coming in. But whenever those come about, I'll have to hop on and brag about them. But speaking of that and this, and we kind of alluded to it in the beginning, but we, of course, moving forward, Mr. Jake and Bridge are going to be taking over the waxing on stuff. Of course, I wanted to get on here and kind of give a soft hand toss over to them. We talked about it on social media. Jake's going to be a more permanent fixture here on our programming and the things that we're offering, and specifically on the waxing on.
Very excited.
Through the ATI podcast connection. I think Jake's going to bring a good variety. I know Ridge and I would have had a variety regardless, but I think Jake's going to bring even more of a variety. Jake's got a wide variety and taste in music. Like, I used to think that I had the most eclectic until I started talking some shit with Jake. He's got a little bit more broader blind spots than me.
I love some boyfriend country, but I ain't gonna bring no boyfriend country on this channel.
What the hell is boyfriend country?
It's like Walmart, like great, like Florida Georgia Line and Sam Hunt.
Okay.
Good shit, but it ain't gonna be on waxing. You don't have to worry about that, folks. I'm not gonna go super crazy. But yes,
human fast forward buttons, but they'll start calling you if you ain't careful.
Yeah. But I need some heat, brother. Kidding.
Hey, that's all right.
Yeah. Got to be a heel, pal.
Yeah.
So waxing on 3, guys. Really appreciate everybody tuning in for this 3rd edition. And, of course, all things that we're doing here on the ATI Podcast channel. We've got an exciting thing coming up this week. We have sponsored a match at the event that's coming up for Grand Ole Wrestling at Pop's Nightclub in Sauget, Illinois. So you're going to see all of our faces there next Saturday night. Doors at 6, show at 7. And they've got a ton of just hot indie talent playing. And it's a unique event. They're doing a from dusk till dawn theme there. And a lot of unique stage designs and things. So if you guys haven't checked out our episode on ATI Podcast with Joey O'Farrell, episode 37, it's a short listen, 45 minutes. Go check it out. You're in the St. Louis area or not too far to drive. We'd like to see you guys there. We are sponsoring a match. It is the Dak Draper match, and he's fighting Moses and the Deliverer. And those guys are both extremely talented. You've seen or may have been familiar with them if you watch professional wrestling, especially more the independent stuff. But that's the ATI Podcast represented and sponsored match at the show. So you'll see us and you'll hear our name at the show for sure.
Pretty excited.
So
absolutely,
yeah, hell yeah.
And there's a Texas Death Match too.
Yes, there is.
Ooh. Yes,
there's a Texas Death Match. There's some Fatal 4-Ways. There's some women's matches. There's some tag matches. Which, speaking of the tag match, it's going to have Davey Richards and Rocky Romero teaming together, and those two have been doing it for 20 years. Very familiar names. Davey Richards now has a wrestling school in the St. Louis area, and the Davey Richards connection to this show is not too distant. So, of course, ATI Podcast, we just interviewed Joey O'Farrell. He disclosed to us that Davey Richards' theme song and the Grand Ole Wrestling theme song has been written by friend of the show, Rusty Leonard. So Rusty Leonard of Last Flight Home wrote an entrance song for a professional wrestler. And I'm not even quite sure that Rusty understands how popular this guy actually is and well known he is in the internet wrestling community. Davey Richards is especially 10 years was very hot. He was, ROH, he was their crown jewel, and by his own decisions, he didn't ever go to the big leagues, the WWE and explore all that. So, but yeah, Davey Richards is a very good wrestler, and Rusty Leonard has written his entrance song. So I'm excited to hear that.
Yeah.
That's going to be another little treat.
I'm excited
for us.
I love a good indie wrestling show. Love it.
And of course, if you're not sure who Rusty Leonard is from Last Flight Home, good friends of, again, the show. And we were all fans of them back in the day. And man, I still listen to Last Flight Home on the occasion. That's just good nostalgia right there. And of course that kind of ties into some of our picks too, like the Lions Daughter. Marcus is friends with them and in the St. Louis scene in Pfister. Marcus Newstead was the bassist of Last Flight Home. So yeah, it's kind of wild how all these things tie together in a weird way, and some of our fandoms and those sorts of things. So it's really cool to kind of see that. I'll just call it synergy, for lack of a better term, how it's all tying in together for us.
Oh, yeah, man.
Also wanted to mention that whenever this episode comes out, or before, we're going to drop a Spotify playlist of all of our picks, and listen to it, spin kick to it, whatever how you listen to music, check it out. Might find something new you enjoy. So
definitely,
yeah. So whenever we drop this episode throughout the social media, in the comments, we'll make sure to put in the playlist, and then we'll make a separate playlist, a post track as well, so it doesn't get lost in the comments too, so everybody can enjoy the variety that we're bringing, and just make it easier and more accessible. Sometimes it's hard to go back, listen to the episode in its entirety, and then pick out those songs and then go back and listen to them. If you already have that playlist ready for you, you might be more likely to go and listen to what our recommendations are too. So definitely, we appreciate everybody turning it in for episode 3 of Waxing On with RJ, and episode 4 you'll be seeing these two beautiful gentlemen. And we've also talked about doing a collab toward the end of the year, first of the year, where we're going to do our albums of the year. So that's going to be a ATI Podcast / Waxing On RJ production. So we will be doing a very special episode for that. We'll kind of do a dual release that'll go on the podcast feed, and it will go on our YouTube channel as well as a waxing episode too. So look forward to that. Hearing about, well, guys, we got 2 more months left.
I'm very excited for it.
Yes.
I think I've been preparing for that for like last 2 months.
But there's been so much great shit. It's going to be hard to pick. I don't know what the parameters or what the guidelines are going to be, but top 10,
the only
top
parameters,
15.
The only parameters is going to be a number. And if it's just going to be the 3 of us, we might be able to squeeze in a few extra picks. But right now I'm thinking, like maybe top 10 albums, and then make a list of, honorable mentions that we can just give a punch list on and not get in the weeds about as well.
Can EPs be in there?
Absolutely. EPs are in mine.
Because I got a couple EPs that are just, fucking knuckle dragging,
like
I'm going to tell you,
bass melter shit.
Do like top releases or something like that. Like, because there's a lot of things that EPs or demos, like, still in my top 10.
Re-releases, too.
Re-releases,
sometimes.
Yep.
Yeah, those are always kind of like, I don't ever count them on my list, but I have no hate or shame in anybody else that does include it on theirs. I personally always try to take a new release approach, but like the only parameters that'll be on our list is just this money for this year. That's going to be the only thing.
Okay.
So I think that'll be pretty fair. And if it's just going to end up being the 3 of us, we might have a little bit more time from board picks. Yeah. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to that too. I always like doing the year-end list thing. It's something I've always done on social media. We done it on the old program. I did my top films and top albums of the year, and looking forward to doing it on this edition as well, and iteration, and looking forward to having you guys involved in that for sure.
Fun. Awesome. Yeah, be a good time.
Yeah.
Excited.
Until
next time, you guys will see Ridge and Jake going forward, and me occasionally. So for Waxing On, I'm Barrett, and we will see you all next time. Take care.
Later.
Later, yeah.